podcast for real estate agents. I don't do too many real estate podcasts at all. I don't. I just more do business and other stuff and what's going on in our life. But I just wanted to give some advice to some of the agents out there. I understand what's going on in the market at the moment, and the market's pretty difficult. And prices, the market seems to be a little soft at the moment for some unknown reason, especially in our marketplace. Homes are staying on the market a little bit longer than, average days on market have blown out yet again. And I've been, 12 years in the game. I've seen pretty much every sort of market come and go and what you need to do. And I just wanted to do a quick podcast to give some advice on what to do with a vendor if they are not listening to the feedback from the buyers and they're not listening or adjusting price accordingly to get the home sold. Because I do vendor meetings with some of my sellers. The homes that sell nice and quickly, we don't need to, but sometimes we do have homes that are on the market for a little bit longer than expected. But I was just in a vendor meeting with an owner, and they'd been on the market previously with no success. We've taken over the property, which I call myself Clean Up Chris. I always seem to be the second agent that comes in and cleans it up and gets the property sold the second time round. And when I come into a property in particular like that, I always like to get as much feedback from the owners on what sort of marketing campaign did they have at the beginning, where did they do with price, where are they now with price, have they had any written offers, just to get some context around their situation and how I could best serve them. But what to do if an owner is not listening to feedback and adjusting their price? The best advice is you need to, obviously the best way to educate a seller on price or where the market sees that property sit is feedback and constant feedback. The problem that I see with too many sellers, too many agents with their sellers, is not enough contact. And I generally have contact some people on a daily regard, but if not, a minimum of 4 times a week, and that can be in a form of WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, text message, phone call, email, whatever it might be. But constantly always keeping that communication open. We will always ring our owners the very next day after an inspection. So say it's a Monday, we do a private inspection on a property. We give them feedback straight after that inspection instantly and with a phone call. And then what I do is we then call that buyer back the next day to see if there's any further questions they may have or any further interest. Then we update our owners to let them know that there is no further interest, because a lot of sellers hang on to, what about this buyer? They seem really keen and stuff like that. So we do have to tell them about withdrawn interest, and that's really important in making a seller or getting a seller to the stage where the home's going to sell. Now, you can have the best marketing campaign in the world, you can spend the most amount of money on marketing and advertising, but if the home is overpriced, it's not going to sell. And if your home's been on the market, if you've had a property on the market longer than 30 days and 0 offers, I guarantee it's price. And how do you get that owner and what to do to get them into that position? So constantly just updating with feedback and, just really telling them price feedback, where the buyers see them sort of sit, and the reasons why, with all different sorts of comments and feedback that you're going to collect along the way. When a property is similar to theirs, or if a buyer has been through another property and they have said that property is similar, send that property through to the seller and say, look, this property, some of our buyers believe this one is very similar to yours. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger block, it's a little bit newer, and it's just sold for $10,000 less than what you're asking for yours. And it's just constantly those little messages, because this is not a podcast, or this is not a this is not a way in to beat your seller down just to get a quick sale. This is doing the right thing by your seller. If you're engaged to sell the property and the seller is way unrealistic on price, this is how you need to educate them to get them in line with the market so they can have a good result. Because the longer the home stays on the market, we all know, the less the home will sell for. It's just that the evidence is clear in that. So that's what we do around a lot of our vendors. So we have vendor feedback meetings where I'll go and sit with them face to face to read their body language when we're delivering this. And it's hard. And, a conversation and some things that I've read and listened to with John McGrath, he talks about 8 seconds of courage. And a lot of homeowners just want honest real estate agents. They just want the honest advice, because a lot of my sellers say, well, Chris, what do we need to do? And then, it's like the doctor giving the prescription. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what I think we need to do. It's very clear. The evidence is there. We have enough feedback. We've had 33 groups through the home, 0 offers, and they're all saying, between 30 to 40,000 under what you're asking. We need to adjust the advertising price. And it's not about beating them down on price or selling it for that. It's just simply changing the marketing strategy. You could then do an offers over campaign. You could remove price. You could put auction tender. You could put a price guide on it. However, whatever method you see fit. But it gives them the opportunity to still get a good result, because you want to obviously increase the amount of buyers that are coming through that property. So vendor reports, updates, constant communication. Now, if you get a seller that says, I'm not going to give my home away, the same line that we all hear. Okay, Chris, I understand that. That's where the buyer sees it sit, but I've put so much into this home, I'm not going to give it away. Okay, when I get that, I then spark up a new conversation. Why are we selling? Get to the bottom of the motivation. Why are we on the market right now? Why are we selling? What do you want to do? If you were to sell for this amount of money that you're asking, what you're hoping for, what are you going to do with it? And it's just a really clean and crisp and precise conversation about motivation. Then you can make that judgment. Do you then prescribe what's the right thing by them? And in this case, it is withdrawing it from the market. So many agents are scared to tell their sellers to remove it from the market. I simply say, look, guys, to give you some context around it, we've just walked out of one and I've gone, look, it's really clear. We've had enough people now through the home. We've had 33 odd groups through. You were on the market for 7 months prior. I haven't been able to produce a offer at the price level that you're hoping for, and I believe we could sell it for $20,000 less. We need to adjust. Chris, we're not going to move. Okay. Can you then do what you need to do in order, without selling this home? Yes. Well, then my conversation was, well, look, this is a really easy decision. I understand you want to sell, but you're not at a level yet where you're ready to sell. So it's pretty clear and easy for me, guys. We should withdraw the home off the market. And by giving them the right advice and honest advice, they actually are going to appreciate you more. Now, our job is to sell the home, and that's how we make our income. But what you don't want to do is be the agent that lets it sit on the market for months and months, doesn't sell it. They get more shitty with you. They then dump you. Then they go to the next agent. They listen to that agent. They get them then to a price point at a level where they're comfortable at selling, and they sell it and they make the money. We see it all the time. So what you're better off doing is just, 30 days after the market, pull it off the market and say, guys, the market's really not quite at your level yet. I think the best thing right now is let's pull it off. Let's come back to it in 6 months. And you pick it back up in 6 months. Because why? Because they believe you. They trust you. You've given them the right advice. It's not about just selling it and flogging it and making the money. And that's how I run my business. So don't be scared. 8 seconds of courage. Tell them that they need to withdraw their home off the market. It's really that simple. Otherwise, they listen to the market, because they have 2 decisions. And it's really simple. They stay or they sell. Chris, I'm not going to give my home away. Okay, well, then your decision is to stay. Well, no, but Chris, we do need to sell. We want to get to, here for the kids' school. Well, you need to sell. The only way that you can sell is you need to listen to price feedback and the feedback of what the market is saying, what people are prepared to pay for your home. Yeah, but I'm not going to give it away. Okay, well, then we stay. But I can't stay. So it's just one of those sort of conversations. It's really clear. It's really easy. It's stay or sell. So make sure that you're constantly in touch with your sellers. In that regard, constant communication, that's the biggest breakdown of all relationships is lack of communication, and it's something that I pride myself on in my business, and that's probably why I do come in and clean up after another agent and get that property sold, because I just have real, open, raw, honest conversations with my sellers and get them into a position where they want to sell. Because I can tell you a million times, once a seller has sold their home, they actually forget about what they actually sold the home for, because they're able to move on with their life. It's no longer, hanging over their shoulders or anything like that. But if they're not motivated to sell the home, no matter what you do, the home is not going to sell. So stop wasting your time, stop wasting your seller's time, have an open, raw conversation, real conversation with them, tell them the truth, withdraw it from the market and come back to it in 6 months when they're a little bit more motivated. It's really that simple. Thanks for listening. And if you got any feedback or any sellers or you want to know any more, I'm probably going to start doing some more real estate-y topics because obviously it's my forte. And, you know, I live and breathe real estate every single day and I'm a listing agent every single day. So I'm seeing the same issues that you guys all are. So if you are a real estate agent listening to this and you want to know more, shoot us a text message, add a comment below, wherever you're listening this to. And yeah, love to hear from you. This is me, Chris Gilmore.